Hi everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon, and I'm excited to bring this wonderful recipe to you today. It's for blueberry buckle cake. It's a lemon-kissed coffee cake studded with fresh blueberries and topped off with a sweet buttery streusel topping. And so without further ado, let's get right to making this. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and grease the sides and bottom of a 9 by 13 inch cake pan. Then start by adding 1/3 cup of butter to a large mixing bowl. Next, add 1 1/8 cups of white sugar. Now then, you'll need 1 large egg and 1 egg yolk. Add that to your mixing bowl. Set that aside while you grate some lemon rind. Try to grate it as fine as you can, and you'll need enough for about 3 teaspoons of lemon zest. And add that to your mixing bowl. And stir it until it's well combined. You can see here what the texture of your batter will look like at this point. Using a very large measuring cup, I add 2 1/4 cups of flour. And next I add 3 teaspoons of baking powder to that flour. And then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And since that's an odd measurement, I use a 1/2 teaspoon plus 1/4 teaspoon. In a separate measuring cup, measure out 3/4 cup of milk. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to alternate the dry ingredients with the milk back and forth maybe 2 or 3 times, and just use your spoon to fold it into the batter. And be careful not to overmix. Once you have added all of your ingredients, both the dry and the wet, make sure that it is blended well, and you'll note that the consistency of the batter will be quite thick. And we still have to add our blueberries. So next, let me show you what to do with the blueberries so that they will stay put inside the batter. And you'll use 2 1/4 cups of blueberries, and you'll add 1 1/2 tablespoons of flour. Toss the blueberries with the flour until they're dusted nicely. And once they're coated really well, then they're ready to be put into the batter. The flour coating on the blueberries will help to keep the blueberries from bleeding into the batter. But it will also help the blueberries to stay put in the batter, like I said, which means that the batter will buckle around the blueberries. And the name of this cake is blueberry buckle cake. That's how it got its name. So just fold them in gently, don't overdo it. You just want them evenly distributed throughout the batter. Now just fold your batter into your prepared pan. And you can see how thick this batter is. This is how it's supposed to be, and it's amazingly moist when it's baked. So don't worry about how thick the batter is. This is how it's supposed to be. I take and grease a spatula, or I use my hands to spread it out evenly in the pan. Now we're going to make some topping for this. Using a medium bowl, add 1 tablespoon plus 1/3 cup of butter. Next, we add 1/3 cup of brown sugar. So add 1/3 cup of white sugar. And then add 1/2 cup of flour. This is all-purpose flour. This is an odd measurement once again, so use a 1/2 teaspoon plus 1/4 teaspoon to get 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now start mixing this all together. I started with a spoon, but I ended up getting my hands in there just so that it would mix better and become more crumbly. Plus you're going to be using your hands just to crumble this over the top of the cake anyway. Using handfuls at a time, just crumble it over the entire cake until it's covered nicely. Once this is baked on top, it will form a nice crust over the top, and it will have a nice sweet flavor. So you want to make sure that each piece will have a nice amount of it on it. This is looking pretty good. And by now your oven should be preheated to about 350 degrees and ready for you to put the cake into the oven on the middle rack and time it for about 40 minutes. This could take anywhere between 40 and 45 minutes, just until it's golden brown like this and a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. Look at this. It is so tender and so flaky and moist. This old-fashioned recipe is a favorite and can be served as a snacking cake or as a dessert. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment in the comment section. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.